You ever meet someone who just seems to live inside their own head? Like they're here, but only halfway, caught between reality and their thoughts. Present in the room, but almost always tracing another line of feeling or idea beneath the surface. They're not distant, just deeply in tune. Because thinking deeply isn't just a habit, it's a way of being, where moments linger long after they end. But why do some people live that way? Always analyzing, always feeling everything twice. They notice everything, the small hesitations, the quiet shifts in tone, the subtle changes in someone's eyes. And sometimes that awareness is heavy, because once you start noticing everything, you can't unsee it. It's like your brain keeps replaying the world in slow motion, noticing every little truth hiding in plain sight. And not gonna lie, sometimes it's exhausting being that aware. But there's a catch. The deeper you think, the lonelier it can feel. Because when your mind constantly searches for meaning, you start to feel out of sync with others who just move on. And in that quiet gap between you and everyone else, that's when you start to wonder, maybe you're the strange one. So here's the question that really matters. Why do some minds feel life in such deep emotional and intellectual layers that it almost hurts to exist on the surface? Stick with that question for a moment, because beneath it lies the psychology that explains why deep thinkers feel everything so intensely, and why that same intensity can be both a gift and sometimes a quiet burden. It's not that you want to overthink, it's that your brain doesn't know how not to. You tell yourself to just let it go, but your mind doesn't believe in that kind of simplicity. Because when you process the world deeply, you experience every moment in layers. Thoughts, feelings, memories, meanings, all overlapping at once. Other people move on, but you linger on words said too quickly or moments that ended too soon. And over time, that awareness starts to feel like a quiet kind of loneliness. Like you're standing in a crowded room, hearing laughter, but feeling slightly out of tune with it. You want to join in, but there's this invisible layer made of thought, sensitivity, and meaning separating you from the world. And the more self-aware you become, the harder it is to just be. And yet, deep down, you start to wonder if your constant reflection is the reason you feel disconnected. Because when you spend so much time understanding everything, you forget how to simply experience it. But maybe that's where the beauty hides. Because being a deep thinker isn't just about seeing what others miss. It's about feeling what others avoid. You notice the weight of kindness. You sense pain hiding behind someone's smile. You see the small details that make people who they are. That awareness makes life richer, but it also makes it heavier. You feel everything twice, once in the moment and again in memory. And when you carry that much emotional information, your world becomes a series of micro-realizations that most people will never notice. That's not overthinking. That's depth with no off switch. And yeah, sometimes you wish you could turn it off to feel lighter, simpler, more like everyone else. But then again, without that depth, you wouldn't be you. You know, at some point, you stop trying to fix the way your mind works. You stop apologizing for feeling too much, or thinking too far, or caring too deeply. Because one day it hits you. This isn't something to fix or hide. It's just the way you experience being alive. The truth is, your depth is the reason you notice beauty where others see nothing. It's why you sense tension before anyone speaks, why music hits you harder, and silence feels sacred instead of awkward. You live at a volume the world rarely hears, and that misunderstanding can make you think you're too much. But really, you're just fully tuned in. And maybe that's the quiet price of awareness. You feel more pain, yes, but you also feel more wonder. You notice the shape of someone's laughter, the warmth behind a small act of kindness, the weight of a memory that still lives in your chest. Every detail is alive to you. Every moment stretches deeper than it should. And that's both the beauty and the burden of having a mind that feels alive in every second. So instead of running from that depth, you start learning how to swim in it. You start building little anchors into your day, a walk, a song, a person who feels like calm. Because when you live this deeply, peace isn't found by escaping your thoughts. It's found by being gentle with them. And over time, that awareness stops feeling like a burden. It becomes a kind of emotional intelligence, the quiet ability to sense what's real, to love with empathy instead of ego, and to feel those invisible threads that quietly connect us all. Because the truth is, deep thinkers aren't broken. They're just fluent in emotions the world forgot how to speak. So, if you ever felt like your mind is too much, maybe it's not that you think too deeply. Maybe it's just that your soul is looking for somewhere gentle enough to rest. You know what's strange? The world often celebrates loudness, confidence, quick answers, fast reactions. But it rarely knows what to do with someone who feels before they speak, who pauses before they respond, who needs time to understand before they move. And yet, those are the people who end up holding the world together in quiet ways. They're the ones who sense the emotional weather of a room before anyone else does. The ones who give meaning to silence and beauty to things most people overlook. So, if you ever feel misunderstood for feeling deeply, remember you're not lost. You're just tuned to a frequency that the world doesn't always listen to. And that's okay, because every time you look beneath the surface, you remind the rest of us what it means to actually be human. Your depth is not your flaw. It's your fingerprint, proof that you experience life, not just live it. And maybe that's what the world needs right now. A few more people who think slowly, feel deeply, and love intentionally. So take a breath. And if this made you pause, reflect, or see yourself in a new light, you belong here. And when you're ready to explore more of these hidden truths about human behavior, take another breath and subscribe, because we are still human.